And she says that Combs showed up to her apartment early in the morning with a gun and kidnapped her, forced her to go with him to break into Kid Cudi's home. And then she said that she stayed back in the car and she called Cassie and warned her what was going on.
We break it down, no script, no mold. Raw and uncut, every gem is gold. Locked in now, let the facts unfold. Q bringing heat on Truth Be Told.
Yo, what's going on, squad? Welcome back to the Truth Be Told podcast. I'm your host, Q, in chat. Check it out. You may remember me reporting about a break-in at Kid Cudi's house and Diddy's assistant at the time by the name of Capricorn Clark. Now, Capricorn Clark has recently taken a stand and testified against Diddy. Now, you won't believe, because this is a plot twist. When Capricorn Clark was at Kid Cudi's house, she's now alleging that she was kidnapped at gunpoint by Diddy, taken to Kid Cudi's house, and that's where it all transpired. Check out the news clip, and let's get into it.
It was incredibly riveting. She was emotional just a few moments ago. She actually apologized to the judge for crying so much. This is a woman who was a personal assistant for Combs at one point and then held various roles on and off over the course of 14 years. And she talked about this one moment from December 2011 when she says that Combs was furious when he found out that Cassie had been cheating on him with musician Kid Cudi. Remember, Kid Cudi, whose real name is Scott Muscudi, he testified last week. And so now we're getting a fuller picture of her version of what happened in December 2011 when Combs allegedly broke into Kid Cudi's house after he found out that Cassie and Kid Cudi were having this relationship. And she says that Combs showed up to her apartment early in the morning with a gun and kidnapped her, forced her to go with him to break into Kid Cudi's home. And then she said that she stayed back in the car and she called Cassie and warned her what was going on. She also says that later that morning she returned to Sean Combs' house after he had her go and get Cassie and bring her to him. She says that that's when she witnessed Combs violently beat up Cassie and kick her to the point that she fell to the ground in a fetal position, and that he continued to kick her all the way from the front threshold of this mansion to the street. And she says that she was so worried for Cassie's life that she actually called her mother, Regina Ventura, and told her to call 911. But this is slightly different, you guys, than what we heard on the stand from Kid Cudi. Also, when we heard Regina Ventura take the stand, we didn't hear about that call from Capricorn Clark. So, it's really interesting for me to sit in this courtroom and you hear little bits and pieces of these alleged events. And so it's going to be really interesting to hear what the jury eventually thinks in a few weeks. And I also want to point out that it looks like the prosecution might actually be running ahead of schedule, and they may only have just about 4 weeks left of their case before they hand it over to the defense.
Listen, I don't know how much of this is true, how much of this is not true. What I do know is that this entertainment industry is a dark, dark world, and I can't make heads or tails of it. But it's just my place to, research the facts and report back to you guys. So let me know what you think in the comments. Is Capricorn Clark, does she seem credible? Because you got to remember, she was Diddy's assistant all the way back from 2011, 2012. So she has clear knowledge on everything that he was doing. Does she have a reason to lie? What could it be? Is Diddy innocent? Let me know in the comments. How do you think this trial is going to turn out? Is Diddy going to do time, or is Diddy going to escape? Because let me tell you what I think is going to happen. I think Diddy is going to do some time, and I think that Trump is going to pardon him. Mark this on your calendars that I said this. Diddy is going to get convicted. They're going to sentence Diddy to some time, and Trump is going to pardon him. I can almost guarantee it. Until next time, I appreciate you guys for joining me at the Truth Be Told podcast. I'm your host, Q, and I'm out.